Well, I think it's time.
Yes, it is.
To gird our loins. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Victor Allen's new Sportz Hot Urban Sports. Get ready, and here's the one the ladies call sexual chocolate. Here's Vic.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's not bad. I have to sit back and say, JG Traveler inspired me. And I love the honesty that Mario imparted. Mac, all of you guys are a tribute to honesty, and you're loyal fans. And I need for you guys to actually go comment at JG Traveler's website. In the meantime, okay, you know what? Why are you laughing? All right, in the meantime, welcome to New Sports.
Shazam!
Okay, New Sports. Let me go and give you guys some stuff you already know because I have to pretend like it's unique. If you want to know what's going on in the sporting world, it will be something, but my own language, and here at Pack Stereo Morning Coffee, New Sports, we're either balling, we're either getting an upset, a letdown, whatever, big pimping, something for the ladies. And, we have to rate it our way because we are a new language in the making. And I'm going to tell you this right offhand, just to let you guys know. You want to know what the trending tweets are? Because I can trend those tweets.
Vic, what are the trending treats? Damn it, I can never say that
trending
right.
Tweets.
Trending tweets.
That's all you
so you can't, I mess treats.
Trending tweets.
And I go twinding. Twinding.
Just twinding.
Trending tweets.
All right, you guys. Here we got this right now. We know LSU Alabama BCS title game is on. Of course, the question is what about Oklahoma State? So we're looking at the trends here. Tiger Woods, 2-year drought ends at the Chevron Open. Tim Tebow, the winning streak continues. Baylor's Robert Griffin III is the Heisman favorite.
He looking good.
He is looking good. And then, of course, we got Green Bay remains undefeated with the most difficult win of the year to me personally because the Giants are no joke when they step up.
They always seem, man, we talked about this, even as much as people don't like Coughlin, all I can say is everybody doesn't like him. But why do his teams always seem to step up? And he does it consistently, Vic.
It's called passive.
They always step up and win. They always seem well coached.
But the problem
and
is,
everybody hates him.
I think they're on their last legs in a different way. The reason why I'm saying that is if they let me do this first. We'll come to that.
Okay.
We'll come to that. Let me just jump into what I think is still a hot topic because I don't want to mislead anyone. I'm not going to go LSU first or Tim Tebow. I'm going to 2 years, 7 days, and Tiger Woods hits pay dirt at Chevron Open. And when I say pay dirt, a lot of people may have a concern. Let me I'm saying,
whoopee.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to hear the clap, Vic, but I couldn't find like a
don't even worry
whoopee.
About it. The haters are going to come out. The haters are going to come out. And I'm going to say this for a reason. But if how we want to frame this is what side of the fence you on with Tiger Woods. Your opinions are not really a part of this first initial segment I'm working on. So since you wasn't honest about JG Traveler.
I was honest. I'll be just as honest about LT Gray.
Right.
LT Gray.
Right. When the time comes. Hey, look, you guys, I'm going to give him props because, like I said, 2 years, 7 days, he has paid dirt. Now, here's the one caveat to it. Only 18 players were in this tournament. So some people say, look, you had maybe 8 of the best players there in the world, but the other players are at other tournaments, but he still wins. And this is the thing where I say, you can blame me for not having all the players on the field in the games I'm assigned to, but I don't control that. They either come or they don't, and I play to win whatever the condition.
It's still a tournament. It's still a win. You got to give it that, Vic. It's still a win, even though it shows you how great he is.
Right.
Or has been. Okay? Or how great he has been, because winning a tournament isn't enough. For you and I, to average anybody else in the sport, winning one tournament is like it's big old giant on your bureau trophy. Right. You're happy.
Right.
But when you're him and you're used to winning multiples,
thank you.
Isn't it amazing how we kind of denigrate? I hate to say it.
Yeah.
We do even as fans. They automatically start saying, well, how good a tournament, because we're so used to him being such an overwhelming winner.
Thank you. And let me say this. The question is, I want to see how many people really are honest about it. How do you feel about Tiger as it relates to him moving forward?
He ain't going to move forward.
Well, with this, okay, let me just say this.
He's getting old.
Wait a minute. No, I'm just saying this. I'm saying this for a reason. You ever get that win when there's an absence of something that you've always been on top of? You know what this feeling is like, Mario. You're in this place. You've been winning for some apparent reason. Injuries in pro sports, a lot of athletes go through this where a running back is here, they get injured, they're a 2-year hiatus and layoff. Very few come back.
I mean, or at least even for a spurt. Remember, okay, and I don't want to hurt anybody's heart.
To the top.
It's not in different sports. I got a cite like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Clyde Drexler.
Right.
Remember the people, even some of the golfers, Jack Nicklaus kind of just
Everybody
went
has
away.
their moments.
They, there's a natural decline in your physical abilities. So there's something that has to happen. No matter what, Tiger, like all of us, has to get older, Vic. And I leave room for that. That's why I think it's great that he won a tournament.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I agree with you. I'm going to say this. The difference with the Tiger situation is that he didn't have diminishing skills. It just happened from a mental thing, a thing that happened that was a traumatic.
Ain't that enough?
That it can. And let me say this.
Divorce, marriage, children.
Right. It can mentally it can mess with you.
Right.
You know? And so here's the part I'm saying. I'm giving him a pass because I know in football they'll say this. They call it young legs.
Maybe he has ED.
No,
I'm sorry. That would mess with
your
your golf game.
See what I'm saying?
If you're LT Gray, I'm just trying. You brought up the idea that something psychological
hit
him.
Yes.
How old is Tiger?
What is it? Like 35? Is he?
Maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
Look, he's in.
Maybe it's ED.
No. I'm saying this. Let me just say this. I'm going to say this for a reason. I'm not paying attention to you, man.
Because that would affect his head. Maybe he can't swing.
No.
He can't swing.
No. He did something that they did that took what they call, you know how it is, returning to your mojo. And I'm saying this for a reason. The reason why I'm giving him a pass on this is because in football they said this. They said, imagine that you're around 28, 27. And Vic went through this. Michael Vick, although a little bit younger, they say, well, you get removed for 2 or 3 years and you're still young because you're still on top. You actually save time on your body. So him being removed for a certain amount of time, it didn't mean he saved time because he also went through injuries. So I'm not giving him a total pass.
Right.
What I'm saying is that the mind and the injuries compiled and bundled made him look like he physically was losing. I think it was more mental than it was.
I do too.
Yeah, so here's my question. With the victory that Tiger just had at Chevron.
Remember his wife, Vic. Let's not underestimate the trauma of a public humiliation and divorce.
That's the mental part.
That would make my golf. Come on, you guys. Wouldn't that make any of our games
change?
Who else? Who? It's very hard to persevere through something that traumatic with your children involved peripherally, right? I'm just saying that.
I'm not saying. All I'm saying is that a lot of us can be on that side where you go like, it's one thing that he mentally was distracted, but then couple that with the injuries,
right?
So he had that on top of it, right?
Age.
So all of that comes into play. But because he's one of the most and the best physical conditioned athletes in golf, I think he has time. Kobe's going to be tested with this. When they said, Kobe, you're going to need a window. You're going to need the window where you can refresh your body. You didn't give it time to recuperate. And Kobe coming back, it's going to be interesting how people are going to look at it because he's flirting with that same mid-30 disease.
They all do. How about all the Celtics? Has anybody announced retirements? See, I'm just saying, it's good you bring it up. It's because it's not just him.
No.
There's a bunch of other people that we're about to watch for the same thing.
We're going to watch what Tiger does. That's why the question came up to me. It says, are we looking at the return of the Mac? You know when I say the return of the Mac, Mar, you know what that means. Macadocious, right?
He's LT Gray.
He's LT Gray. So let me ask you this. Is this a blip in the meter, or are we seeing the return of the Mac, Tiger Woods?
No, I think he has on the way down, he has moments of the old, like most of us.
Right.
On the way out, on your way, as you succumb to ED, you still have some one-night stands that are, you actually think you're still okay.
He only does this in my segment,
So I'm just saying.
Okay.
Poor Tiger. I remember, and actually, Vic, if you remember, I actually predicted this.
Right.
I said you would see him win less and less, but I said he would return and win some tournaments because of his conditioning and work ethic.
Right.
he's going to still be one of the best. It's just he's not going to be the best.
Right.
Then he's going to be the fourth best and the fifth best and the sixth. And that's the way it works, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And here's the question. I've never thought of it this way. When you drop out of the rankings and you're down like a 60th or whatever in the world, was this, gets to my question now, a condition, was he balling? Was it something for the ladies? Was it a letdown, which we all say no, or was this an upset because he was not favored to win this tournament, or was he favored? Let me just give a caveat. This was his own tournament. So when you have your own tournament in your own home field, that may not give you the same level of, well, you did it at your own place. But also
going to give you more pressure.
Right, it can.
I mean, it could be both ways.
Well, so let me ask you, was he balling?
Yeah, he's balling.
He's balling. That's what I figured. Okay.
And he'll have moments of balling.
Okay. All right. Let's take it to the next one, man. We're going to go over here to the next subject because, I know this is never going to be a satisfactory moment when we get to the BCS title game. And I'm going to say this over and over again. I asked this question, and everybody's going to probably have a problem with it. I said, did Oklahoma State lose its BCS bid in favor of a pro SEC bias? And when I say that, somebody brought up a good question. A former coach of Chicago Bears said, so if the BCS title game is held and LSU and Alabama play, and this time Alabama play, do we look forward to who wins the next game, 2 out of 3? Because they'll be 1-1. So if Alabama wins, does that necessarily say they're the best team since LSU doesn't have any losses? So really, can you say Alabama is the best team? LSU can afford to lose a game. So do we go to a third game, or do we just get the best team playing at this moment outside of LSU? What do you think, Mario?
I think this is part of the obsession you guys is trying to have a champion. And I just don't think it's practical. And then you're not happy now.
Oh, come on,
you got all these damn championships, and y'all are still not happy.
Nope.
I don't get it, okay? I just don't get it. And you can't make it no matter what you do, Vic, because you deal with different levels of competition in college. Right. I don't know how you can always guarantee that the best team. You know what I'm saying? Because you always have somebody that's on that level 2 that's capable of beating some of the ones on the level 1.
Right.
In other words, I don't know if I'm using the levels correct, but I'm saying there's always a Boise who's somewhere coming in there, and you don't know where they fit on these things. So I don't know, Vic. I don't know. Because, I was actually happy. You guys are never happy, but I was happy this year because I watched a Pac-12? I don't even know what it is.
The championship.
Pac-12.
The embarrassing championship.
Yeah, but the thing only that got me was after I watched the championship, I watched another, then there was 3 more coming. And I didn't even know what those were. Somehow they had a YE paying somebody.
Yeah, all championships, conference.
So what is this? Like, now they're all championships, by the way. They used to call it all that.
Right.
Now everything's a championship. So you guys are really messing my head up with this BCS shit. I'm sorry. I can't understand none of this shit. You want more of it, like it's gonna, and I can't understand what you have right now. I can't even understand what you have right now to make a champion, but you're asking for more.
There's a reason why they do the conference championships. It's like being within your own conference. But they're saying their team can win outright by beating everybody, but they also give an opportunity for a team to elevate its opportunity to play in a matchup, a bowl, or whatever. Now, I know that's not cool because UCLA was a perfect example of a team that shouldn't go bar none.
But, Vic, that's what I'm saying. It used to be if you had the best record in your conference,
that was
you were then you could still go match up against somebody else. Why do you need to have an inter-conference play again to determine a champion?
Money.
Okay. Sorry.
See, I want you to come down to earth, my brother.
Okay, I'm sorry, but man, that's why I can't keep track because I just thought if you win the conference, you're the champion. Now you play the other conferences at least.
Right.
But you guys have somehow made it so much more complicated. You notice I put you with them because you're one of the people who wanted all this.
Yes, I actually sit there and say
you wanted all this
I said
stuff.
The more you guys try to figure out how to get, they're trying to get everybody opportunities because the more colleges you get involved in this, the more revenues,
right?
More money. We're thinking about an outright champion. They're going like, we're going to add more bowl games.
So then you can get the different levels to fight, like the AFC, NFC, right? You can get the level. Yep. You can call it the extra Super Bowl with the Super Bowl of this.
And I think it's a celebration for, hey, look, the college students are enjoying this because some go like, there's a lot of schools that don't have pro teams. They don't have a team that can always bring a area championship. So you think about teams like Nebraska or states where like Nebraska
there's
or
nothing
Wyoming,
else, right.
There's nothing else there. So
they
the argument I have to go with is, look, the college students are getting an experience. It's once in a lifetime. The rest of us, here's the SEC where I'm going. I know the SEC is the most dominant place for football, college football. But the part that you guys are forgetting about, teams deal with scheming and coaching. And there is a Boise State that proved that some years ago with Oklahoma. So I'm just saying.
I'm not sure that every municipality needs to embrace and experience a BCS type championship. Sorry. I know that you guys seem to think it's the most wonderful experience to have that. But I can just see your town, city going, what the heck? In fact,
I want you guys to know something.
I can even imagine your city saying, I don't care if we don't have a pro team. I wonder what city would say that.
See, I want you guys, you notice that the reason why he feels this way, because he went to Howard University, which is a unbelievable university.
Lousy teams. Lousy.
Okay.
They'll get mad. We're not lousy. Okay. We beat somebody. Nobody that anybody else can name.
Right.
But no, yeah. I mean, but it was an academic institution.
Okay. But let me just get back to the point at hand. Oklahoma State, it railed on the Oklahoma Sooners and beat them handily 44-10. Let me tell you who.
Which is historical, right?
Right. But let me tell you what Oklahoma State reminds me of. If you have a short memory, you're going to know this. Oklahoma State is like the Oregon Ducks, but with a better quarterback. They're small compared to SEC teams, but they got a better quarterback. Now, Oregon lost to LSU earlier in the year.
I saw that.
And let me just say this. The quarterback
Fluke.
is nothing compared. Nothing comparable. Now, I'm not saying LSU
you say better quarterback, better passer? Because Darren Thomas is...
no, he's...
how does he look toward the pros?
He looks good. But everybody knows when you have a running back, like an Heisman-worthy running back in your backfield, and you have a small team, which they are, that are fast and they skirt around, I like that. I think they're good. But Oklahoma State, what is it? I can't even remember his name. I feel so bad that I forgot his name. He is...
I don't know the name.
He's a passing phenomenon. Next to the amount of yardage is up there with, say, Robert Griffin III of Baylor. I'm just saying, I don't think they would beat an LSU, but I guess what I'm looking for is a team that's going to score points. If this game ends up 6-6, 7-3, everybody's going to be bored.
But, hey, don't you get to see another game after this, though? Because this is where I get lost again. After this, is there still another game?
Oh, no, you're going to have the other bowl games, but this is the BCS championship. This is it.
But but these same schools, can't these same schools play? This is probably was getting me confused. Can't the same schools play another game, bowl game after this?
This is the bowl game they're in.
This is it. There's no other game.
There's no other game.
I was getting confused because I thought UCLA was done.
They are done
until they played in this championship.
Let me say this. Let me say how bad it was. And look, I want UCLA to be a winner because, hey, it's in a community. They had to get a bowl waiver just to make sure they go in and play in the bowl game, because when you lose your championship game representing your conference 50-0, and your coach is fired, and then you're going in to represent a bowl, what do you think that says? That's money.
That's what I'm saying.
That's money right there.
That's why I was saying that's the stupidest crap in the world.
That's the money behind it, because the conference
you
is going
to a bowl game, you just lost 50s.
The Pac-12, let me say the benefit to this. Let me say the pro and con of this. Money comes into the conference. Is any of it going to the students? Will the student experience at the game offset the money that's coming into the conference? That's what this is all about. It's an embarrassing way to get your team to play on going in under 500, coach fired, and losing 50-0.
You know what? It is embarrassing, but you can't make that work to people like me who are not following it in that depth. It just looks like confusion in the face of what you were trying to make something better.
Right.
That's all I can tell you. Because I was one of the people who said a national championship wasn't necessary.
Okay.
But there we go.
There we go. Now I'm going to give you here's the thing. Is this balling, the title game between LSU and Alabama? Is it big pimping? Is it whatever because you're not happy with it, or is it something for the ladies? Because
no, it's balling.
It's balling.
One thing I will say about all of this, it's some good football.
It's going
college sports is looking good.
It's great.
Looking great. It is, Vic. It is. You got me watching more.
Yes.
And even the basketball.
Yes, it's much better, more exciting.
And not only that you throw in women's soccer.
Right.
Because now they got me from last year.
See?
I mean, this year. The women's soccer got me, so.
And congratulations to the Stanford Cardinals for recently winning the soccer championship over the Duke Blue Devils. Wow. Okay, so let me do this now because I'm gonna go over to because we already made our decision. I want to go over to the subject that really is the number one subject because it's going to be ongoing for a while. You know, Tim Tebow is laying it down. We know he's 6-1 as a starter, but you have to tell me which one is more surprising to you. Tim Tebow wins again. They win again, 6-1. He easily gets tied for the division lead with the Oakland Raiders, but then at the same time, the Dallas Cowboys lose in overtime under controversial coaching opportunities by Mr. Gary. Wait a minute.
It looks stupid.
Wait a minute. What's more surprising? Tim Tebow being 6-1 or the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Arizona Cardinals?
Dallas losing to Arizona, but also making mental errors like that.
Yeah.
Those are some big and you know what? See, here's the thing. There are errors where you have to blame everybody on. It's like if I make this error and you're standing right there and you don't even catch it and tell me.
Right.
It's even though I'm bad for making the error, you're bad for being there next to me and not catching it. So these are the kind of errors that you look around at the whole coaching staff, everybody in the booth, and go, which one of you yelled fire?
Right.
Wait a minute, what are you doing? After, hey, you guys down there, wake up.
Right.
Because someone's supposed to yell fire. See, to me, if you don't say anything, you're still as guilty. So they made some bad coaching decisions, which in terms of time management, which is interesting because Jason Garrett is also a former quarterback. In fact, he had historically a phenomenal game for the Dallas Cowboys coming in as a substitute, right?
Right. Let me say this, just to say this. First of all, this is the Dallas Cowboys. Way more talented on paper and on the field. Number two, it shouldn't have come down to a game this tight. Number
Did
three.
you see them hit Arizona hitting on defense too, by the way?
I'm saying this for a reason. I'm saying that the idea that the game got reduced down to this level. Here you guys are. You go to San Francisco. You beat San Francisco with cracked ribs. I'm not complaining about Romo. Romo did his thing. He's good. How did you guys – are you telling me that the San Francisco game where you guys really were slugging it out, that this game was more difficult in comparison to San Francisco? There's a letdown somewhere. I feel bad about this. And let me tell you the other thing.
It sure is a letdown.
It starts off in the record. In the month of November, you have a wonderful record by Tony Romo. I think he's like, 20-1 or something. His record is phenomenal. Here we are in the first week of December, and he starts off with a loss, and his record is below 500 in the month of December. Here we go again.
Team failure, Vic. These things are like team failures.
Right.
In the same way that the thing you're about to talk about in terms of Tim Tebow is a team win.
Right.
In the same way. In other words, when you look and you see all that tackling, you see the other team beat you in the areas they're not supposed to.
Right.
There's a bunch of people who didn't step up. See, so once again, you had a team letdown.
Yes.
But I guess that's the whole point. You could also view it as, in terms of Arizona, a team step up. Now, one of the things you got to comment on, which I actually love, how about Kevin Cobb?
Okay.
I really enjoyed, you weren't glad to see. He came back. That's a story, Vic. He came back after all that time.
I know.
He came back and did a nice performance, I thought, as a comeback performance. Isn't that part of the story, too, in Arizona? The comeback performance of Kevin Cobb?
12th game into the season.
Still a comeback.
Wait a minute. 12th game into the season. Preferred over Donovan McNabb in Philadelphia. Goes over to Arizona so he can be the lead dog, and it takes him 12 games.
He was injured.
I know what I'm saying.
He was injured.
I'm saying
that's why
they're going to look at it the same way.
Kevin, I'm celebrating your comeback. I thought it was Vic doesn't think it's a story. I think it is one of these stories is Kevin Cobb's comeback performance against the Dallas Cowboy defense, where he had a wonderful performance. I never even followed the guy.
What happened to the other games?
Vic, you don't even think what a bias. Okay, and remember, by the way, I am a Tim Tebow fan.
All right, so let me say this thing.
And everybody's hating on him just because he's a Christian.
Wait, let me say this. No, let's not even reduce it down to that. Let's just
they are hating on him.
Let me say this. Number one, let me say this. Let's just get to the point. Is this what you already agreed? You said it's more shocking that the Dallas Cowboys lost. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying it's more shocking that no one saw 6-1 coming from Tebow. Not 6-1.
Oh no, I didn't expect that either. But it goes to show. Remember, I had that whole discussion with you about teams able to. Vic and I have these ongoing discussions about fads in sports, like trends of offenses and defense, and whether or not an old offense from the 70s or even earlier, whatever, could win. And I keep saying, to me, it seems to be a matter of the commitment of the people and the personnel and the right situation for the right team. Right. But I'm one of those people. I think that a variety of offensive styles can win. And I think that Tim Tebow, I said it before, could win. You can shape the offense, and people say, well, you have to shape the offense differently. Well, so what? You shape the offense differently all the damn time. Yeah. You shape it differently when you have no running attack. Yeah. You shape it differently when you have no passing attack. So shape it for Tebow. And guess what? Duh. By the way, for a man who can't pass, sure seemed like he was throwing some passes to me. That's all I can say.
Right.
He could have put a couple of them in a better position, though, Vic. Like a couple of them was a receiver, right? But still, he had it there.
I agree.
Could have been a little better position, I admit.
No, they're doing a smart thing in coaching what they got from him. They're saying the increased percentage of him throwing interceptions and errors goes if he has to throw 35, 40 balls a game. Because at that level, you have to be able to.
Oh, come on and give him credit now.
No, I'm giving. No, wait a minute.
He's got one. What has he got? Like
hold on. I'm giving him credit. No, I'm giving credit to the coach and him right now.
Okay.
What I'm saying
10-1, right?
What I'm saying is that if for whatever he's getting from the play on the field, I celebrate. But I do understand what they're saying. We're going to always be close in these games, and we're going to stay close in these games, and we're going to keep you from having to throw a lot of passes because your strength is with your legs. I love that philosophy. I'm not mad. It's like Cam Newton. They say if you can use your legs and it's a strength to us, use them. He has to work on his interceptions. This man is not throwing any interceptions, but the ratio of it is because he's only throwing 15 passes. If that works, I'm all for it.
So you say.
No, I'm all for it.
I mean, everybody could throw less passes and still have way worse ratios.
No, I think
it's
smart.
That's the way they try to.
No, that's the game planning. That's just game planning.
No, but I'm saying to say that he has less interception because he throws less passes. There's a bunch of people who throw less passes with way higher interception rates.
Right, and I think what they're saying is, and the part I'm saying is, I think the coaching needs credit here because they were all over Fox. They were on Fox and on Elway.
Is he coach of the year?
No.
He's not coach of the year?
I don't think he's coach of the year.
He meant Harbaugh.
No, I'm
Harbaugh.
No, San Francisco, dead right.
Yeah, but otherwise he would be close, right?
Yes.
I have to say it right now,
right?
Because to me, Denver was flounderingly bad last year.
Right. They do. And I say this for a reason. I said, I think the part that I like is when you have to adjust. And when you listen to how they have to adjust, because they say teams, and not many of us get to see these segments. They have segments where the teams are winning. And then they go and show you the rooms and the cats who are administrators, the ones who are out there. They're constantly planning. They're constantly looking at the next deal. Constantly, while everybody else is going, oh, he got flagged. An example of somebody getting, flagged by their coach, Tampa Bay's coach Raheem, how he said he took that 3rd and 15 call and he says, you know what? You don't know how much damage that did to us. Take your butt to the room. How bad it is, because they said we work on the mental part of the game even more than the physical. Yeah. So to me, the part that's happening with Denver is they have reduced their mistakes. They have contained everybody on the same page, and it's working. I have no complaints.
Oh, and remember now, those are the intangibles that have infected teams, see? So they at least come together, because that explains the frenzied defense. And like I said, they're stepping up all over the place.
Right. They do what they call low risk. They do low risk.
And the receivers go get the ball. In other words, he doesn't place it. To me, sometimes when he places the ball, Aaron Rodgers puts it like Aaron Rodgers would put it right here. Mm-hmm. Tebow's going to put it here, here, or here.
Right.
You can still get it,
Right.
but you got to twist to get it.
That's right.
So you have to kind of have but his you got to give his receivers credit. They kind of get it, but you can see how he still, even on some of those throws, he didn't put all of them right where he needed to, but some of them were really right on.
Oh no, I have no complaints about his throwing. I mean, look, I sit there and say this right now. If you turned around and say, which quarterback would you rather have now, Tavares Jackson at Seattle or Tebow at Denver?
People, I told you, asked me before.
That's what I'm saying.
We went through this before,
Right?
Because you asked me about Vince Young, and I was like, I'm not going to choose Vince, you guys, no matter what you offer me.
Right.
Because I'm not a believer in Vince Young.
He's fragile.
I'm not a believer in him at all anymore.
Right. No, you don't. The worst example of a Vince Young having a moment is when you throw 3 or 4 interceptions and you're on the field and you are sulking. You are not supposed to show your weaknesses. You're not supposed to show. You're supposed to let it go and move on to the next play. Get onto the side over there with your offensive coordinator. No, go to your offensive coordinator, your quarterback coach, and say, let me start scheming. Find out what I did wrong. Don't sulk. So let me take you to, let's go to what I call the question of who really deserves the Heisman Trophy. Now, you know what? I'm going to say this. They say this. You don't make the Heisman winner the one who is best ready for the pros. They said that. They said the best. There are a lot of pro players who don't win the Heisman.
Wait a minute.
So you don't necessarily have to go with that philosophy. So here's Trent Richardson, who I say to me personally, I said this is a man playing on the college field. He's a man. He's a beast.
They had them in high school.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? They had those guys in high school. It was him probably. When you're in high school, everybody else is like, and you look like, here comes muscles and testosterone.
Right.
Like guys who had beards in the 11th grade. Yeah. Some of them cats, remember them? I knew something like that.
He's a beast. And when I say he's a beast,
physical.
He is really, to me, a pro player playing on the college field. Now, with that being said, we're in the era of the quarterbacks unleashed. Now,
you sure are.
The best performing, consistent quarterback player who didn't get the media pub exactly the same, what they call predetermined. Predetermined Andrew Luck from Stanford was already there at the top of the list. You also had some other quarterbacks up there. Here's the part. The best playing quarterback coming towards the end of the season who really only had a drop-off one time when he got injured. He said, so it wasn't me just, my efficiency in throwing is pretty good. Houston's quarterback, he was all right until they got, swamped up by Southern Mississippi, and 49-20. So that tells you
that would
bad
count
talent
as an upset.
It's terrible because that tells you they have marginal talent. And let me say this, Mario. I actually put a tweet out there about the Houston Cougars. I said, how do you rate them up number 6 in the country when they beat UCLA by 4 points? That means the computer's getting in the way.
That's pretty bad. That's also pretty mean-spirited. There.
Yeah, I'm being
pretty mean.
I'm trying. All right, here we go. We're going to play this game, Mario, about rank your top 5 Heisman Trophy candidates, and you give us the final results before they give us the final results when they do that big stage thing coming up shortly. And I want to see who you put first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. For those who may not be watching this and just listening, Andrew Luck is listed, and this is no particular order. Andrew Luck, Stanford; Trent Richardson, Alabama; Robert Griffin III, RG3 at Baylor; Case Keenum, Houston; and Matt Barkley, USC. 1 through 5, Mario, rate your top Heisman finalists.
See, the issue really of this, I got to ask you a couple questions, though, Dick. When does it come out?
Oh, dude.
It comes out after all the bowl games?
No, they actually... No.
Is it already decided?
It's already going to be decided. They go to...
When do they vote?
I forgot the date. I'll get the date
tomorrow.
Well,
the reason why I bring it up is because some players have the benefit of additional games, right? And it seems like that would be a bias in some people's minds because you get to see them more.
I think, and I heard, please, I may be wrong and I stand corrected. I was watching a show a day or two ago, and they submit their votes immediately. I heard someone quote, I'll be submitting my vote tomorrow. So a lot of votes go already in advance.
Okay, because I wondered about the bias that would occur because, Andrew Luck, except, there's those games toward the end threw a little wrench into what might have been an automatic. It's not automatic because he got outplayed.
It's the regular season.
In the game with USC, against, because Barkley kind of got him in that day, right?
Yes.
And not only that, if I remember, can't remember, they played Oregon. Somebody else I can't remember who. I can't remember who else. Somebody else they lost to Stanford. I'm trying to think.
They lost to Oregon.
Yeah, that's the other game.
They lost badly to Oregon.
That's the other one that I think I saw that I was kind of shocked. Okay, so now, and running backs often to me are more favored. So you say that who can I predict the top 5 results? So there's just a shuffling in this order.
Yeah.
Robert Griffin really looks good, but if the voting is in now, I think it's going to end up going Andrew Luck. I think it's going to go Andrew Luck. I think it could go almost the order you have here. Even though I bet you're going to say Trent Richardson goes first.
I'm going to say this. I think because of what Robert Griffin has done, the consistency, not only breaking records with his legs, above and beyond what Andrew Luck has done, and even Matt Barkley. If you take away the pro potential of it, hands down, I go RG3.
I mean, I like him. He's the one where I watch, and it just seems like some schools don't get the same kind of favor to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know if it was Baylor because of the conference, you know. But again, he's the one we all been watching in the games, right? Everybody's talking about is Robert Griffin.
Yes.
So, you know, like I said, they'd be curious. At least I think you have the 5 here.
Yeah.
And I think I actually agree with this order.
Okay.
As I think the votes, I would predict that the votes come in just like this.
Okay.
The only place I can think I might be wrong is if Trent Richardson comes in.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to vote Robert Griffin in.
No, I'm going to.
I don't think they are.
Mine is Trent. I just swap out the positions. Trent over Andrew. That's all.
That's what I thought you were going to say. That's what I thought you were going to do.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's not that we think that they should be that way.
Right.
It's just that we think that's how the vote is going to go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. All right. Hey, you know, that's it for me on New Sports, you guys. We went kind of long, had a lot of subjects because we had a lot of sports, and I think the Tiger Woods just set it off, you know.
All right, everybody. That was Victor Allen's New Sports. Written, directed, and produced by Victor Allen, the one the ladies call sexual chocolate.
That's jacked up.
Crazy.
That's jacked up.
Sporty.